Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 140 of Did You Bring the Hummus podcast. I'm Kimberly, your host, and I'm super excited to be here with you today. Did You Bring the Hummus is a podcast for all things vegan. Before we get started, I have one very important question for you. Did you bring the hummus? Today, I am joined by Liz Wheeler of Secondhand Stories Chicken Sanctuary. Liz is a passionate animal advocate who has spent her life dedicated to protecting animals and inspiring compassion for them. She has completed a certificate in animal welfare from Thompson Rivers University and a certification in Anthrozoology at the University of Windsor. Her enthusiasm for connecting people and animals together has led her to a career as a professional fundraiser. She's worked at the Ottawa Humane Society, Humane Canada, and is currently the Philanthropy Manager at Faunalytics. In 2022, Liz began rescuing chickens and is now the proud founder of Secondhand Stories Chicken Sanctuary. Her passions include convincing government officials to care about animals and eating vegan food. This conversation is so filled with joy. I hope you find yourself smiling as much as I did, both when chatting with Liz and again when listening back as I put this episode together. Hi, Liz. Welcome.
Hi, Kimberly. How are you?
I am so good. How are you?
I'm great. I have a couple of cats that may make an appearance, so if you hear a meow in the background.
No, friends are always welcome on the podcast. No worries there.
Yeah, I figured if I actually closed the door, you may hear the meowing even louder.
Right.
I'm in an office right now that has a really beautiful French door, but the problem is that the cats can see me from inside. And so if I close it, we just get Loki, one of our cats, like pawing at the door.
Yeah.
And you hear a rush.
I totally get it. One of the cats who lives with us is here in the room with me. She is sound asleep on top of the cat tree. Because, you can't make her leave, but we'll see. We'll see if she stays the whole time.
Absolutely.
And you might hear her banging on the door, so we'll take care of that should it happen. But hopefully she naps through.
Yeah, they've all been fed, so they're kind of in their sleepy mode right now.
That helps, yeah. So, Liz, let's start as we always do on Did You Bring the Hummus? Tell me about your vegan journey.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's so funny because I get asked this a lot. And my answer has usually always been the same. But the other day, something struck a chord with me. And I remembered that when I was in grade school, and it jogged my memory because I saw somebody post a Jeremy Bentham quote about they not can they reason, but can they suffer? And yes, they can. And it jogged my memory that when I was in grade school, I actually wrote or did one of those first public speaking presentations about animal testing. But I had completely forgotten about it until just recently when that kind of sparked my memory. And I was like, oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. So this has actually been brewing a lot longer than I remember. It's always kind of been a part of me. But I guess my journey to veganism specifically, it started with my dad bringing me to an egg farm.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't great. My uncle is a caterer, and so one holiday, French Canadian caterer, and so it's a lot of foie gras, a lot of duck eggs. And so we went to an egg farm to pick up some eggs for the holidays, and I don't know what they were thinking, but they let a 12-year-old girl into this egg farm, and it was disgusting. It was the most, I can still just remember it so viscerally, just the smell and the noise, and just, it was so awful. And looking back, I'm like, why would they ever let somebody in when conditions were that bad? I don't understand.
Right.
I still can't make sense of it. But immediately after that, I basically told my dad, I was like, I'm never eating chicken again. This is not happening. 12-year-old me couldn't really understand at the time that the problem was the eggs. That came a little bit later, but through listening to podcasts, kind of like yours, I was listening to the Animal Justice Paw and Order podcast, which is a great organization in Canada, and listening to them talk about factory farming in Canada, and just it really opened my eyes, and I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
That'll do it.
Yeah. And I mean, I've always been involved in animals in one way or another. It's really been my whole life. It started with companion animals. I mean, I still like to call our chickens my companions, and vice versa. I'm their companion. But yeah, I started with working in shelter medicine and clinical practice at a cat specific vet clinic. And so just kind of always surrounded myself with like-minded people who cared deeply about animals. And obviously that circle grew, and as my compassion grew, I was able to kind of see other animals and include them.
I love that. I can't hear a thing.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, there's a little bit of kitty tomfoolery happening right now.
Don't worry at all. Like I said, friends are always welcome on the podcast. So the Jeremy Bentham quote was one for me too. I first discovered it at the Body Shop in my local mall. Yeah. I was a teenager. So this was in the 90s. So it was a while ago, right? And I remember walking into the Body Shop, and I saw like that the graphic they had was like two rabbits, like at least that's how I remember it in my head. Two rabbits like standing up facing each other, like silhouettes of rabbits. Yeah. And in between it said like, can they suffer? And then on the back wall, it said against animal testing and can they suffer? And against the back wall, it had the full quote with his name. And I had always been like, a kid who wanted to read books that were very philosophical. And so when I I also didn't have the internet. So I had to go to the library and I had to go to the card catalog and to find out who this Jeremy Bentham dude was. And, and so it took a lot more work. But animal testing was the first thing for me, and I didn't go even vegetarian then. I just had stopped using products that were tested on animals, and I was always telling my friends like, stop buying this, buy this one because it's not tested on animals. And that was like a huge part of when I actually started changing things in my life to be more in alignment. And isn't it so fun when you take that moment, like you said, you realize there was this moment earlier than you had remembered where you started to think that way. And it's so fun when you look back and you go, oh, here were all of the things, those steps that got me there. It like truly is a journey. Yeah.
And like, I was trying to think back as to like what prompted me to do a presentation about animal testing. And I was like, I truly can't pinpoint what it was. The only thing that I can reasonably like assume is maybe I really, really loved hamsters. Like, I mean, I've always loved all animals, but like growing up, we had a classroom hamster, and like there were always like you had to be assigned to different chores. And I have my journals from when I was younger that you would like write to your teacher, and like every other entry is like, I want to be assigned to hamsters this week, and then like asking my teacher about how her cat was doing.
Aww.
Like, and then telling her about my goldfish that went to sleep, but then magically woke up the next week, which is just, I swear, poor little naive Liz.
It's interesting, the stories that our parents tell us to try to shield us from the pain that they know would come from like realizing that our friends don't stay with us forever. And so I get it. It's like doing it, they're trying to be kind and protect you. Mm-hmm. But when you get older, you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That was a betrayal.
I was like, oh God. Oh no. But But yeah, growing up, my mom and dad always were like very kind to animals. I remember like every time I would go to the cottage, which is like in Canada, like a little cabin that you go to for the summer. My grandpa had one, and my dad was always so friendly with the chipmunks, and they were always named Chip Chip, and we would give them peanuts and like just caring about animals has always been like such a core part of it. When I was upset as a kid, my mom used to tell me to imagine that my cat had kittens and they were crawling on me, and like that would be the only thing that would stop me from crying. So like I just feel, yeah, I guess my vegan journey is just, I don't know, I just came out the womb this way, I guess.
Yeah. Absolutely. We're like born to be disruptors, and this is how we're doing it.
Yeah, I'm so jealous of people who get to be like raised vegan.
I know.
Like, what a cool life that would be, to just your whole life be compassion and it never be a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be amazing.
Agreed. Yeah, I feel that way too. So you live with cats, but you also live with chickens.
I do. I have it's kind of a micro sanctuary. We don't use the term micro sanctuary mostly because search engine optimization, which is super boring, but truly like nobody in our area is looking up micro sanctuary. Nobody knows what that means, but
Yeah.
for all intents and purposes, we really kind of are one. We have 22 rescued chickens. So we're a smaller rescue. We only focus on chickens, and we're a sanctuary, which means that we care for them for the rest of their natural lives. And so we have a pretty decent operation. We have 6 different coops, which I think is really cool. It's like a little retirement village for chickens. Yeah, so cats and chickens. I always tell people I'm just like a dedicated feline and chicken enthusiast.
Yeah, if I can, because this is audio only podcast, Liz's wallpaper behind her has chickens and roosters on it. It's fantastic.
I thought about wearing like I have chicken earrings and a chicken necklace, but I was like, the wallpaper plus like there's a portrait of a chicken.
I see.
And if I were to turn the video camera, you'd see like a whole wall of more chicken art.
I love it.
I don't have a chicken in the house right now, but it has happened, and I'm in the room where sometimes they get isolated. So it's basically every aspect of my life.
That's so wonderful. What made you want to focus on chickens and create this sanctuary for them?
Oh gosh. Right? It just started so young and like caring for animals, and it just feels like it was such a natural and obvious like transition into caring for farmed animals that are farmed as well. I suppose you could pinpoint it to, I went to another farm sanctuary and I got to meet a chicken for the first time, and it blew my mind.
Mm.
I always imagined that birds were not soft. And I don't know where this idea came from. Maybe it's just like when you find like a seagull feather or like a wild bird feather on the ground, it's usually like covered in salt. I mean, we're in Canada, so salt from like winter or something, like, and it's like crispy, but because it's like fallen off the bird. But then I met Ellen, who is this amazing chicken that was rescued from the University of Guelph, who was in their testing facility and luckily was able to find a second loving forever home at a sanctuary. And I met her, and she like ran right up to us, and I was like, wait, who are you?
Yeah.
And it was like love at first sight, like head over heels. I was just completely smitten with her. I was like, how have I never been obsessed with chickens before? Like, this does not make sense. This is what I was meant to do. And it just like everything just kind of clicked into place. I was like, oh, this is an animal that most people don't see as like their favorite animal or worthy of such deep compassion, and is a companion and can be a companion. Yeah, Ellen was just so special. And I'm so thankful that we got to meet her, and like that it just basically dominoed my life into what it is now.
The power of one chicken.
I know. And then I think sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I really hope that we get to do that too. That like somebody, because we also like have people can sponsor chickens, and that's what ended up happening. Craig, my partner, and I, we sponsored Ellen. And I think like, oh gosh, like I wonder if somebody else will have that through our sanctuary where they sponsor a chicken and they get to know them and love them and hear all their updates and see their videos, and then maybe not start a sanctuary. If they did, that'd be really, really cool. But maybe it convinces them to eat a little bit less chicken or eggs, or go vegan, or change like a tiny aspect of their life to be more compassionate for chickens would be amazing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I'm sure that you are doing that when people visit or adopt a chicken and then get to learn all about him or her, rather, learn all about her. So you said something about Ellen that surprised me, and I think might surprise a lot of listeners, because I do a lot of like reading and research, and I'm always trying to learn and understand all the different ways that humans use animals so I can continue to educate people on how we continue to exploit them. And you mentioned that Ellen had been rescued from a testing facility. We test on chickens?
Yeah.
Oh my God. What for?
Well, I don't know, but it's wild the amount of animals that are tested on that you would not think of.
Yeah.
It really just like made me so sad that was her life. Yeah. And that like it was a miracle that she was able to be rescued, because a lot of facilities, from my understanding, don't allow that. It's they are tested on and then they are killed. Like there is not a second chance for them. So for them to have found like sanctuary is just so amazing. And like the cooler part of that is, in a very full circle roundabout way, is that I actually got to meet the person who rescued them from the University of Guelph. Aww. Neither one of us knew each other. But we were at the Animal and Vegan Advocacy Summit, and we're just having a conversation about our shared love of chickens. And our connection was like, oh yeah, Liz like sponsors this chicken Ellen, who's at another sanctuary. And then the person was like, no way, like she's this many years old. And I was like, yeah. And then she was like, oh my God, I rescued, like I'm the one who sent that chicken to a sanctuary. And I was like, what? And we both started bawling our eyes out. Really, I was showing her all the updates on my phone, and it's just like it's really, that was such a special moment to share.
Yeah. Oh, so amazing. Oh, yeah. It feels so warm in my heart. So one of the things that we chatted about when we met last week is this idea of sanctuaries, good governance, and like how you guys can kind of, and sorry, you guys it's not intended to be gendered. I'm from New Jersey and it just comes out, so I'm working on it. But how people who run sanctuaries, how can you be part of that? This idea of good governance, and even if you want to kind of give a quick definition of what that means for the listeners, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, for sure. So in Canada, the landscape for things is quite a bit different. And I'm sure this is the case in the United States as well, but you don't have to, there's no registration process for becoming a sanctuary or a rescue. And so there can be a lot of varying organizations that use that term. And so it often falls to the public to discern like whether or not an organization is reputable or not. And one of the challenges of how like sanctuaries can try to fight that is by getting the registered charitable status. But as a farm sanctuary in Canada specifically, it's not as easy as that, because when you apply to become a nonprofit or a charity specifically, in Canada, there's two levels. There's nonprofit, which our sanctuary is, and there's a charity, which we have applied for. But the laws in Canada, the Nonprofit Act, states that it has to be for the better good of the public benefit. And they don't see rescuing farmed animals as for the public good. They do, however, see breeding different types of cows for which ones can produce the best milk or best meat as charitable, which is so messed up. But yeah, you can't, there's so many regulations. You can't intercept the food system. And so if you're a sanctuary and you intend on, or not intend on, but just so happen to be part of liberating an animal from the food system, you could have your charity status revoked. Yeah. And that has a lot of negative consequences from a donor perspective, right? A lot of sanctuaries, you don't get any government funding. And so you're kind of at the mercy of individuals making donations. And if somebody has seen that you've lost your charitable registration, like it doesn't reflect very good, even if the intentions were very pure. And further to that, your mission can't be to promote veganism. It has to be educational in focus or for our children. And so a lot of sanctuaries will do education focus and promote tours, and maybe they're doing like humane education programs within schools. That can be really, really challenging for smaller, newer sanctuaries, including ours, right? We started about 4 years. It's almost been 4 years. It'll be 4 years in July. And so coming right out of the gate, I mean, maybe that's not a very good now that I'm realizing that coming right out of the front door of your house, it is really, really challenging to establish all of these programs because most often, at least in my case and in many other sanctuaries cases, you're really just focused on rescuing the animals first, making sure that you have the proper infrastructure set up for them, that you have good volunteers coming to help you, that you can afford their massive veterinary bills before you're ever focused on all of these amazing programs that come along with it. So yeah, long, short answer is that it's just very, very challenging for sanctuaries in Canada to have a good structure and to operate as a charity. And so it kind of creates this very uncertain landscape of what a good sanctuary can look like or what responsibilities fall to sanctuaries.
Okay. For the listeners who, and I guess specifically in Canada, who might be like, okay, like I've heard there's a couple of sanctuaries nearby, but I don't really know a whole lot about them. Like, and they don't, maybe they don't have a certain status, or like, how can people who want to donate or who want to visit, if they offer that, determine that this truly is a place that is caring for animals, not just using the word sanctuary because they know they're going to pull in more money, let's say?
Yeah, definitely. I usually try and use like benchmarks against like what we would refer to as like petting zoos or like roadside zoos. So if the animal's purpose at that place is entertainment, then they're probably not a sanctuary. A sanctuary should be focusing on the individual animals and what is best for them and giving them autonomy first and foremost above all else. They should have a veterinary partnership. I know that there are some regions where it's really, really difficult. For us, for example, we actually have like a network of 4 different vets because we are very country and, you know, some vets aren't really comfortable or familiar with certain procedures or techniques. And so we have a really great network where we see different vets for certain reasons. Like we have one vet that'll do surgeries. We have one vet who will do implants. And so I would definitely say making sure that they're having their animals looked at outside of just like their own knowledge, kind of the same respect and care that you would give to any cat or dog or bunny or gerbil or like any other quote unquote pet that you might have, that they are also given equal consideration. Not being used for entertainment. So the autonomy thing is really big. So do the animals have a space where they can go where they're not forced to interact with people? We do tours and our chickens love people, but people never go into their coops unless they are volunteers and they're trained. Because that is their safe space. If they don't want to interact with humans, they can walk away. That's really important that the animals have the ability to do that, and that we're also not going into their safe spaces. Also, I would say it really depends on what types of animals, but in our experience, chickens don't always travel really well. So if you're having like animals travel into places sometimes, and not always there are animals, it really depends individually. But if that's a core aspect of their program where they're expecting that the animals will just show up and again, kind of like perform, I always find that to be something that you might want to look into a little bit further. Yeah, I would say those are like three big things that help guide us.
Yeah, thank you for that. I came across a sanctuary, or the owner of what she was calling a sanctuary. And so like we met at a vegan event, and so we started following each other on Instagram. And I like did a double take one day because there were posts about animals who live there on the sanctuary, and then a post about the like farmers market that they had available at the sanctuary that day. And the first video panning over is all like mangoes and apples, and I'm like, okay. Scroll to the next photo on the carousel, or video panning over a sign, meat, like 9 something per pound, and you could see these like bloody packages behind it. It's just like 10 feet away is a cow, and then right here is and I was unfollow.
Oh my gosh, audience right now, my face is like bulging out of my head.
Yeah.
Awful. Yeah, definitely. And like any kind of products, and a lot of people will say like, oh, sanctuaries can sell their eggs because, you know, it's natural for a chicken to lay their eggs. Bullshit. Hopefully that you're okay to have a swear word in there. I've been holding back, but like,
absolutely
not true. It is not natural for a chicken to be laying up to like 360 eggs a year. Like, whoa, that's not natural. And there are a lot of things that sanctuaries can and do to like prevent chickens from laying eggs. There's a fantastic thing that we offer our chickens called a Superlorn implant, and it is a hormonal implant that prevents them from laying eggs for a short period of time. It's hella expensive, but we do it because it's what's best for the chicken. And also, like, by selling the eggs, you're kind of giving a check mark to like, it's okay to consume these things. And chickens actually really, this sounds weird, but they enjoy eating their eggs. And our vets, all of our vets recommend feeding them back to them because the eggs, all the benefits that quote unquote humans supposedly get from eggs, chickens also get. They lose 2 milligrams of calcium for every egg that they lay because the eggshell is all calcium. So if you cook that, you scramble it back up and you put the eggshell in it and you feed it to a chicken, they're now replenishing all of the nutrients that they've lost. Well, not all, but like they're replenishing some of the nutrients that they've lost through that really taxing process.
Yeah. And the opportunity to give their bodies a break from having to do that at all after, you know, chickens who have been rescued, who have been, you know, in this cycle of constantly having to lay eggs. And I know that like some farms leave lights on all night to like change cycles, and like, can you just like imagine? So I like to sometimes ask people, like, think about what that would be like for you, that you just never get darkness and you can't sleep in darkness. Right. That sounds like a nightmare.
So awful.
Yeah.
So awful. And like, there are a lot of things that folks can do, or I guess sanctuaries or people who have chickens can do that don't translate to like the bottom line, right? Like, we have 6 different coops. That is highly abnormal for having chickens. I'm not aware of many other places other than sanctuaries that care for chickens that do that. A lot of the times you'll see like 100 chickens together in one barn.
Right.
And the reason why that works for them is because they are not naming every individual one. They're not getting them vet care. When one of those 100 chickens passes away, they don't consider that a loss because they can just go out, or like they're already breeding chickens, right? But for us, the point of having 6 coops is each flock has their own dynamics. They are a family. We are trying to educate and show people that chickens are individuals and should have the same respects that you give to any other living being. So you wouldn't throw a whole bunch of like 4 different families with like 7 husbands and 14 wives and throw them all in one coop and be like, oh, you all are going to be a family now. Like that would not work.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
Yes, it would be awful. I don't want to share my space like that. I can't. They would want to either.
Yeah. Oh, I really appreciate what you're doing. You know, chickens, as we know, here in the US, right, the animal welfare laws and expectations and requirements in raising animals and slaughtering animals is laughable at best. And then chickens aren't even considered part of it. And so they really are, their numbers are so much higher because their bodies are smaller. And so it takes more to produce. You know, we talk about around the Super Bowl every year, right? Like how many wings, and you got to remember that chickens only have 2 wings. And so think about, you know, when one person is like, yeah, so
it's wild. There is just so much, I don't even say misinformation, but just gaps from people understanding their food system and where their quote unquote food, because we don't see chickens as food, but where the animal products are coming from and the effect that has on the environment, on other communities. For anybody who hasn't watched the Smell of Money documentary, that was absolutely mind-blowing. I highly recommend for everybody to watch it. But like consuming animals and their products is so bad for the world in so many different aspects. It blows my mind that a blind eye can just be turned to all of the suffering that it causes in so many different ways.
Yeah.
The way that I kind of find not peace in it, but like move forward is really like through having this sanctuary, right? Like aside from having the sanctuary, I also work at Faunalytics. That's my day job. I love my job. Working with the chickens, in addition to that, really helps like ground me and show me that like we are making positive strides. I see it when people come over and interact with the chickens, or I get an Instagram comment where someone's like, I had no idea about this. A couple of months ago, we launched this really cool online campaign called What the Flock Fridays. And so every Friday we would share like this really shocking statistic about Canadian egg farming or chicken farming. And in Canada, people have this really weird, almost like holier than thou sentiment that we couldn't possibly be worse than the United States. And it's like, I mean, there's negatives on both sides, you know? Yeah. and in Canada, our animal protection laws are actually, for farmed animals, are worse than the United States. Like, we are not governed by laws. They are voluntary guidelines created by NFAC, which is the National Farm Animal Care Council, and it's voluntary. So for cruelty to be addressed in Canada, there has to be a complaint. And as like with the United States, there's been a lot of ag-gag or agriculture legislation bills trying to be introduced. And so it creates a real friction between getting that information to the public. And so going back to the What the Flock Fridays, like some of the statistics we were sharing are promoted and made public on like getkraken.ca and stuff. I'm not trying to plug them, but if anybody wants to know some really like messed up like how they promote the egg industry, they have the average Canadian egg farm, and yes, this is less than the United States, but again goes back to like Canadians not believing that we could possibly be this bad, is like 23,000 hens. And over 80%, I believe it's 83, but over 80% of them spend their entire lives in cages. The amount of comments and like shocked emojis that I got to those 2 posts specifically was mind-blowing. I was like, how do we not know this? Like there's such a disconnect between what is happening and what people are contributing to and what is like what's on their plate and the reality of what is behind it. And so, yeah, I just think sanctuaries do such a great job, and not to like toot my own horn. Brand new to this baby. Like, we are following in the footsteps of every sanctuary that has done a remarkable job. And like Open Sanctuary, for example, they're a fantastic resource for sanctuaries. We wouldn't be here without them. That just do so much in educating people and showing people the alternative. And I think, well, more than I think, there is a lot of research that backs that people are more willing to digest and absorb information when they don't feel guilted. When they're backed into a corner and they feel like they've done something wrong, people close down. But when they come here and they are being met with like when they're being curious and they're met with like compassion, then they can really open up. And I think sanctuaries just do such a brilliant job of being able to bypass people's like defense mechanisms. Like, how often do people say, like, when you're vegan, that you've like gone to dinner with somebody and somebody asks you like, oh, you're vegan, and then you try and educate them and they're just, you get a stonewall.
Right.
Well, when people come to the sanctuary, they're already open, and so it just provides such a wonderful opportunity to educate people.
Yeah, I love that. I remember I've been to a few sanctuaries, and a couple of them multiple times, but kind of going back to what you were saying about allowing the animals their space. I remember I was up at Farm Sanctuary up in Watkins Glen, New York, and they really are. And I was with my husband. It was like the third time I'd been there, and we were with a small group doing, the standard tour. And we were walking up where like the goats and some sheep were. And the tour guide said, very often they're going to come running to us like over the hill. And we'd seen it before, and it's magical, right? It's so amazing. And they come just barreling toward you. And this time though, they just weren't in the mood. And so the tour guide was like, we'll be able to walk, like, as we walk this way to go, like, I think over by, like, the ducks or something. He's like, we'll be able to see them out there, but, like, we're not going to get close and we're not going to go in, and because they're just not having it. And one of the other people on the tour, like strangers to my husband and I, the lady was like really upset. She was like, I don't understand. Like, I came here to see animals and I'm not going to get to see all the animals. But then as we write and, trying not to pass judgment, I know I would have loved to see them to be able to give the sheep a little pet if they wanted it. It really is a wonderful thing. But as we walked around and did the tour, I think, and like you said, she was open because she was already there. It kind of started to register like, oh, okay. Like, they can just be who they are. And it's okay that I didn't get to see them this time. Maybe I can come back and interact with them when they're in the mood for it. It was really nice to like watch that change happen.
Yeah. And like, one of the coolest things I find is like when people get to see chickens in their not complete, but more natural environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like our sanctuary, all of the coops are nestled under a canopy of spruce trees. They all have these extended runs where they can dig around in the dirt. We have like a play table, which, okay, maybe is not natural. It's like a little picnic table, but it's tech, so we're going to go with it. But the coolest thing is like, if one of those chickens isn't interacting, that's because they're doing something that's natural to them. Mm-hmm. And how amazing is it to have the opportunity to watch them and see what they're doing? Maybe they're not running over because, maybe they don't want to be pet, but maybe instead you get to watch them dust bathe and because they're happy. And to be like truthful, like, that is the best part of chickens. Oh, yeah. Watching them dust bathe and purr, because chickens purr. They have this like trilling coo sound that is arguably maybe, and I mean, like, I'm a diehard cat lady, but it might be cuter than cats purring, guys. Like, you haven't look up chickens purring. It's so cute. It's so cute. And if they don't want to come up, maybe they're doing something like that. Or maybe they're taking like a sip of water and it's so cute because they like dip their head back and it's like good soup. It's amazing watching them just live their lives and be free. And Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to watch.
Yeah, you just know that they feel safe and they are just able to be who they are, and they can be grumpy or they can be friendly or just kind of spend some time alone or hang out with their girlfriends. Like, yeah, to just know that they're able to do that, especially those. I mean, I'm always happy for all animals to be in that space and be able to be themselves. There really is something, I think, a little extra magical when they have seen the horrors and then they get to experience all of that beauty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The amount of times that we've had chickens and you see them having their first dust bath because they've been cooped up in like a tiny 2x2 box. It's just, there is no feeling greater than that.
Yeah. Oh, I bet we can see videos of that online too, right?
Yeah, it's like when you see a cow like touching grass for the first time. It's chickens experience the same thing. They get to like touch dirt for the first time.
Then do the little scratching. Like, oh my God. Oh, it's so good. Oh, I'm so happy right now, Liz.
Oh my gosh, me too. I'm so lucky to be able to like share this with other folks. And I just feel incredibly privileged to have the life that I do. I think being in like a rural area, it's really easy to get, I guess, a little bit like demotivated, right? Because people who are from this area generally have grown up farming, right? You get a lot of opposition to what we're doing. But then on the other side, there's always these joyous moments. And like our neighbor used to be a chicken farmer, and every year we have an open house, and he comes every year. And last year we did chicken yoga, brought over his yoga mat, and he was sitting down. He asked us to take a photo with one of our blind roosters. He posted it to Facebook. Like, it's those moments that make everything worth it, where you see like you can help inspire people to see chickens. Like, maybe I don't think he's vegan yet.
Right.
You know, maybe he went home and he was like, I'm not gonna have chicken tonight. And like every small action that somebody can take towards living a more compassionate life, I think makes a huge difference. And I mean, I know that there's differing thoughts on what the most effective ways of reaching folks are. I know, again, working at Faunalytics, I like to try and lean into the data, but also like, what is better for the world? 100 perfect vegans or a million imperfect vegans? Like, I would always, 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 always rather take people trying to do better. And I think it probably is the same in almost any social justice cause, right? People are not going to be perfect. But if you can help them start to open their minds and hearts, and I mean, I know that sounds very like, I don't know, but like, I do think like you have to hit people with the emotional connection to animals, because that's what's going to make them stick to it in the long term.
Yeah, for sure. And I love the idea, like, so many thoughts coming in at once.
I know, I'm so sorry. You might have gotten totally off track.
It's all good. This is fantastic. You know, and I think about, there are some people that I've heard say, you don't have to go vegan. You just have to help us in whatever way you can move the movement forward.
Yeah.
And then others will say the only way to fix things is to be vegan and to do your best to always be the best vegan you can, and to try not to make mistakes. And if you make a mistake, you fix it, and, you know, that kind of stuff. And then there are people that are, I don't know, somewhere in the middle maybe. And for like, I like the idea, I feel like we can all be a lot more motivated if we are vegan, because we've got the emotional connection, like you were saying, because it does keep us connected to the thing that we're fighting for. Because anytime you are going against the norm, it's hard. It's so hard. People want to be loved, accepted, feel like they're part of something. And when you are doing something that's so different from what everybody around you is, you don't feel like you're part of something. And so you need that connection to push you forward. But at the same time, like, what if there's somebody who is like, I'm just not going to get it 100%. I need more time. Maybe it takes them 10 years to actually go vegan, if they go vegan at all. But what if they have some connection or some thing that allows them to like get into like the animal agriculture industry and they start breaking things down? We need, like, there's always that one person or that one movement, that one moment that like pushes things. And if we're pushing away the people who are like, I'm willing to help, but I'm not 100% there yet, like, I think we're doing ourselves a disservice. Do I want everybody to stop eating animals? Yes. Yeah. So I have that too.
Yeah. And like, that's it exactly. Is I always try and imagine it as like, and I'm sure like a lot of people have seen this online, but like, I'm a very visual person. And so to me, I'm always thinking of it as like one of those little meters, right? It's like, you have like the diehard like carnists who is like, a lot of people in our area, I'm not gonna lie.
There's a lot here too.
Like, best forever, like, you know, and like, that's not our audience. That's not the people that we are going to connect with. That's not anybody who is really, their mind's going to be changed. But maybe if they have enough people in their lives where their wives or husbands or partners or cousins or whatever, one of them like tries meatless Mondays, and then all of a sudden that family gathering has to be meatless Monday, and then they have one less meal because of their social circles are starting to expand on those ideas. You never know how far those planted seeds will take root. And I always think back to like my own family. My own family is not vegan, but my sister is amazing at any time I go over, like we'll have something vegan. And whenever she travels, she's always sending me photos of like vegan food that she's tried. And I know that that is helping more than absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm. And then maybe her partner is going to try what she's eating, or like a friend that she's out to dinner with is going to get the same thing because it looks good. Mm-hmm. I think is just, you know, there's so many issues in the world. To be so restrictive is really narrow-minded. And I mean, also, like, I'll say it, like, I'm a white woman and I have no culture. So like, I cannot speak to what it would be like if you are from a family where it is very, very important to have certain meals together or celebrations. Mm-hmm. That's not something that I ever experienced. And so I have absolutely no right to judge or tell somebody else like how they should live based on their own lived experiences and culture. Like, let's go after the big problems and work together towards it. Mm-hmm. And be less dismissive, because I think, you know, the more allies we have, the stronger the movement will be. And if we just alienate everybody with and I don't want to say extremist ideals, because like nobody's going to see this, but I'm going to explain it. On my arm, I have a tattoo that says tofu eating radical because somebody once called me that on the internet after.
Love it.
A little bit unrelated, but like I petitioned not having horse carriage rides, and it was on the front paper. And I got a lot of people sending me messages, and somebody called me a tofu eating radical, and I was like, yeah, I'm a radical. Kind of like a sarcastic thing, because it's like, I know that just alienating everybody isn't going to do any good. Yeah. If anything, sometimes it pushes people further away, and that's the last thing we want.
Right. Yeah. And you know, I think it gets lost too when people start to say stuff like, we need to allow more people to come in and to maybe use whatever their skills are and their interests are to help us move things forward, even if they're not going vegan immediately. And they'll go, nope, I don't want to be around people who are not vegan. And like, I also get that. My vegan bubble is so good and I love it so much. And I don't necessarily want to be around people who aren't vegan either. And so for me, being vegan is part of who I am and what I'm always going to do. And no matter how many people who are doing it imperfectly come in and help out, I'm not going to join them in that. I'm going to be the best vegan that I can be 100% of the time, because that's what is for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you can do both, right? Like you can accept people where they're at and also set boundaries for yourself. So things that my partner and I do is we don't go to family gatherings if there's going to be an animal product on the plate. We just arrange our plans through a non-food focused event. We'll say, hey, do you want to go for a walk or do you want to go do this activity? Because then it sets a boundary that we're not going to be putting ourselves through the hardship. And I mean, especially since having a sanctuary, it is so incredibly hard now. Like after the first year, like in sanctuaries, you see so much loss, especially in chickens. Like their lifespan can be quite long in sanctuary. But when I say quite long, I mean like the Guinness World Record for a chicken is 23 years old. And in our experience, most chickens survive anywhere between 2 and 15 years old. And so like that's a pretty short lifespan, especially like when looking at the 2 years old, because of all of the different, like through breeding, they've just been like modified and selected so that they can like turn out as many eggs. Anyway, all this to say, it's too hard for me to go to an event and then see another animal that so closely resembles like Maggie, who was like my chicken soulmate, and then be like, that could be Maggie. So also okay to set boundaries for yourself and say, no, I'm not going to participate in that. I'm not going to be involved in that. And then turn it towards something else. Like if people aren't going to go vegan, for example, like then just switch it to something else where it just doesn't involve animals at all. Probably easier said than done. Again, right? I have no culture. Like, come on. I know.
Right. As another white lady, correct. And you know, I love that you say this about boundaries and then you also acknowledge that it isn't always easy. And we can see it in all the areas of our lives where we realize that people are making us uncomfortable and we are like, okay, like I have to change something. I don't want to lose this person or this relationship, but like I can't keep doing this. And when you first tell the person, they may not take it so well. And you then have to work through that, but it's okay, because if you respect and love each other enough, or even just respect each other enough, you can, I think, find a way. And like you said, that example is perfect. We don't want to eat together. Let's go take a walk. Yeah.
Let's go touch some grass.
Exactly. Take that however you will. Liz, this has been amazing. And like, we didn't even touch on all the things that we talked about. So I don't know, maybe you come back for number 2. We'll see.
I know. I'm so bad at this. This is just
this has been a fantastic conversation. The listeners have not lost out at all. But I do have one more question for you. How does hummus show up in your life?
Okay, so I am very disappointed that we have not named a chicken hummus yet, because I was like, that would be the perfect answer. And then I was like, oh, but we have a chickpea. So hummus shows up in my life every day because I have chickpea in my life every day. So I also eat like a crap ton of hummus. That's like, I am single-handedly funding the hummus purchases at our rural township, because I don't think anybody else is buying it except for me. But also we have a chicken. His name is Chickpea. We also call him Chick Pepper. So we have chickpea and tofu, and there are veg club roosters. They're 2 bonded silky roosters that are just the cutest thing in the world. And so, yeah, I had been listening to your podcast forever. And so I always think of chickpea when I think of hummus. And so, yeah, chickpea shows up in my life every day with his little like bouncing like leaps.
Aw. Well, tell
Like nobody
Chickpea
else
I
is gonna
love
have
him.
that answer.
That is true.
Right?
Yes.
Watch somebody else like be like, oh, that's such a great name, and then like name their chicken. Me too.
Well, it is a great name, and if they are inspired to give a beautiful home to a chicken or a rooster and name them Chickpea or Hummus, then like why not, right?
Well, and also I think the next chicken that we get, like if it ends up going with that group, we've already decided that we're going to name them Nooch. Which is like, as I know, like probably the worst name ever. It sounds awful, but it's so funny.
But it's like so deep tracks vegan, right? New vegans, like they haven't learned that yet. Non-vegans, they don't know what it means. So when you go, here is the latest addition to our flock, Nooch, you'll know immediately who on that tour is vegan.
Exactly.
Liz, this has been wonderful, and I cannot thank you enough for your time tonight. There has been a storm raging outside my window, and I'm so glad that the internet did not drop out on us, and that we got to spend this time together.
Yeah, me too, and definitely part two, because I have so much more to say about sanctuaries. But I just love chatting with you, and hopefully, if anybody is listening to this and has gotten this far, you now know I'm very chatty, and so please just like hit me up and send me a message. I love chatting with all animal advocates and everybody.
Yes. Wonderful. Also, we didn't even get to spend even just 2 minutes talking about how we know each other through women funders and animal rights.
Best trip ever. I am so excited. So I mean, this is a very long podcast. I'm very sorry, but
no, it's all good.
Yeah, WFR is that the acronym, which is really the best in my opinion, has been such a wonderfully welcoming and safe space. We're seeing like just so much turnover in the movement right now, and it's so nice to have a woman-centered space where we can collaborate and talk and just connect and brainstorm, and I'm just so thrilled to be a part of it.
Me too. Yeah. It's like my day job, my like that part of my life is not connected to my activism at all, which makes me sad every day. So so to be able to be in that space, even when it isn't the work I do, in quotes, is so meaningful. And just connecting with people like you and everyone else in the group, it reminds me in those very hard moments that like we have some real powerhouses in our movement, and like we're going to do it. I don't know how long it's going to take, but we're going to do it.
It's really like when you say powerhouses, like it's totally right. Like I hesitated joining for so long because I was like, I do not deserve to be in the company of these
I know, right?
leaders in our movement. And then finally, like, got the gall to be like, hello, raising my little tiny hand, being like, I would like to join. And it's so inspirational. I feel like, gosh, it's been like maybe 4 months, but already I just feel like a bolder, more empowered version of myself through joining WFR. Like, I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, I love it. When's our next meeting? Is it tomorrow? It's soon. Well, anyway, I'll see you there.
Yeah.
Well, Liz, I don't want to take up any more of your time for now, but I would love to have you come back and talk more about sanctuaries and everything else that we'd made notes about. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, Kimberly. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Welcome back. Did you know that chickens are also tested on? I sure didn't. Liz truly shows up with love and shares her passion so freely, it's easy to feel joyful in her presence, even just through a screen. Honestly, this entire conversation felt like a chat with a longtime friend. Would you believe that Liz and I have yet to meet in person? To connect with Liz, visit her website, secondhandstories.ca, and follow the sanctuary on Instagram at secondhandstories_. You can also check out Faunalytics at faunalytics.org and connect with Liz on LinkedIn. The link for that will be in the show notes. As always, all of the links I just mentioned will be in those show notes, so you can click right in and get right there. I hope you found this episode helpful and inspiring. Please subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you're loving it, please give Did You Bring the Hummus a 5-star rating and leave a review. It's an easy way to keep supporting the show. Be sure to share these episodes with your friends. If you're finding something good here, they will too. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Did You Bring the Hummus, and visit my website, didyouBringTheHummus.com, for more information about me, updates on what I'm working on, new podcast episodes, and all things vegan. Tune in next time for my interview with Bruce Friedrich of the Good Food Institute. Thanks for listening.